Hello and welcome to Kicking Tires. My name is Jimmy,
And I'm Justin.
and today is January 19th. Forgot which day it was.
Skipped a week.
We skipped a week. Wasn't feeling that well last week. But we got some exciting Toyota news today. It might be sponsored by Toyota today because there's a lot of Toyota
It's
information.
not our fault. Like no one else has real news or like any new releases, at least.
Well, Honda does have a teaser to show us, which is quite interesting. So, and BMW also has something that's kind of sad, but we'll get there in time. Let's go into the first thing here, which is the Tundra. So the Tundra, of course, there's a new Tundra that's coming. We know about that. But there is this edition, Capstone, which is basically, is it Capstan or Capstone?
Capstone. It's American.
Oh, okay.
If it's like British, I feel like they call it Capstone.
So this is basically the top trim of the Tundra. So they want to make sure that they have something to compete against the Denali and the limited F-150 and then the Ram F-150 limited. Like, wait, not Ram F-150. wait a minute. The Ram 1500 limited. Like, this is the top trim. This is the swankiest Lexus-like Tundra you can get. I don't know. Does it look like it's the swankiest?
The name Capstone, it just means like it's the top. This is the top trim. It's like top of the mountain. It's Capstone. It's maybe more. I don't know. Maybe it's better than 1794 edition because if you have dyslexia, you don't remember what that last top model truck was named. So if we look back at the previous generation, we had the limited trim or platinum trim, and then the 1794, which builds on top of that. And then every other manufacturer kind of has their cowboy edition basically, and Toyota's like, you know what? We're gonna ditch the cowboy thing. No more 1794 edition. It's not a King Ranch. It's not a High Country. What's the Ram one with the tribal tattoo on the seat?
Longhorn.
Longhorn.
I love that one.
Every other, I don't know the names. Like it's not my demographic, honestly. But the tribal tattoo. And so Capstone, they've gone away from the theme of traditional American luxury trucks, which I don't know how I feel about it. Like I don't like those cowboy trucks anyways, but I think
I love it.
This one does not wow me that much. Like the trim is not that special. The wheels do not look special. They're 22-inch chrome-ish wheels, but they're not like they kind of look just like a Camry Corolla wheel, but enlarged.
It's not even like chrome. It's like
like machined.
Yeah.
It's like gray with a machined accent. Kind of similar finish as the 4Runner limited wheel, the 20-inch wheel. But it's not like a very like luxury wheel. It's a very like generic like matchbox car wheel.
Yeah.
To me, and it just doesn't wow me. But at the same time, we don't know what pricing is like. Some people are saying 60K US. If it's in line with the previous 1794 edition or the platinum, it's going to be in the mid 60s here in Canada. In that case, it's not that high up because if we think about it, the Rams and the F-150s and the GMCs, they go real high up. You're pushing like six figures for some of their top trims. So it's understandable that this doesn't wow you quite as much as what the big three brands have to offer. Some of the features. Okay, so the Capstone is nice because it is kind of a value luxury package. It's kind of like the not Laramie. What am I thinking? What's the F-150? Lariat. The Lariat F-150, which is not that much more than an XLT, but you get a lot of the luxury stuff standard or at least at a lower entry price without going too crazy. This is a pretty practical application of a luxury truck because $60,000-$70,000, that's pretty normal for something this capable, this big. I don't think it's unreasonable, and it's only available as a short bed with the big crew cab, so Crew Max. Toyota's short bed is on the shorter side, 5'5", which I think everyone else is at least 5'6", 5'7". No party tricks really with the tailgate. There is
There's
the
still a
power.
1794 edition.
Oh, nice. So they are doing a 7. Oh, so that is already 74K, 73.
Yeah,
So this is going to be even higher than that.
it's gonna be
So
80 essentially.
it's going to be 80. At
Canadian.
80, it will
80
be
Canadian.
hard to justify, I think, because
Ooh, no, that's a long bed because that's only available in short bed. It might be.
true.
Mm,
It's still it's only
it's
$400
$1,000
difference between
Oh,
long and short.
yep, yeah. It's not
Yeah,
that big of a difference. Never mind.
yeah. But you are getting the hybrid as standard. So the iForce Max powertrain. That's kind of what's exciting about this generation Tundra, and that's going to be made into 10-speed auto. It's going to tow about 10,000 pounds, a little bit over 10,000. It's not kind of a segment leader in any way, but if you are, I don't know, I feel like if you're in the market for a luxury truck, you probably don't care that much about max towing capacity. It's still more than sufficient for what most consumer will really use it for. If you're doing a lot of towing, again, just go up to heavy duty. So yeah, standard power running boards, powered bed step, um, head-up display that's 10 inches wide. It's color head-up display, so it's a huge head-up display. You're getting the towing tech package standard. I saw a TikTok on the towing tech package. It's got this straight path assist feature, which is kind of cool. The F-150 has the. I think everyone has some kind of trailer
Towing,
assist
yeah.
thing now, and it makes so much sense. Like that's really what you need in a modern, you know, luxury truck, is
More
better
assistance.
towing assistance, because
Yeah.
that's it just changes everything. Like if it works, the F-150 one,
The
I
first
haven't
gen.
get it to work. I haven't gotten it to work because I changed the head unit. To be fair, because it's integrated with the head unit, so I think that is why. So I ended up buying the stickers, and I still couldn't get it to work. But yeah, I think this one. Okay, they talk about semi-aniline leather, aniline. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's talking about the grain of the leather. So it's really nice leather. So it's like not like sanded down. It's more natural grain, but it's good quality. That's why they're able to do it. But to me, it doesn't look like that exceptional. Like the seats are nice, but they're not like that nice, because you can get leather seats in Tundra at a pretty low entry point.
I'm just gonna say that I don't like the color combo.
Okay.
The
I
the
was
white
feeling it.
the white top, black on the bottom, and then there's some parts that's just like it. It's like Oreo-ish. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not feeling the color combo as much. Like the
Yeah.
1794 personally, I like that more. That
Yeah.
brown leather. This
This is
yeah.
more techy. Like it's going for a different vibe. Like I can see they're trying to integrate that new school again with the hybrid technology, with the huge screens. Um, they're going towards a different direction with this truck, and very futuristic. So I kind of get the white light color interior, because that's kind of how the EVs
Yeah,
go.
but I mean, if
Um,
it's an actual truck, if people are using it as a truck, who really wants a
I
light
get,
color
so I
interior?
think they thought that through, and they're like, okay, the seat bottoms, they have to be dark or else they'll get dirty. So I
The
guess
only
just the design committee was just like, okay, we want light color textiles in this car, but we got to keep it practical. So we'll keep the side bolster where you get the most dirty, and the seat bottom is gonna be black. And then, so we'll just compromise. They decided it does look a little bit awkward. Do look, if you're on your phone, you can Google 2022 or Tundra capstone seats, and you'll see what we're talking about. The armrest is a light cream color as
I
well.
was gonna say
That's
the
gonna
arm.
be disgusting after a few years.
Yeah, because let's be okay. Other than the seat bottom, the second highest point other than the steering wheel is going to be those elbows. That's cream, that's white, like that's gonna get
Yeah.
so dirty.
It's gonna be so. I love having a black and gray interior in my F-150 because it doesn't matter. We're wearing gloves; they get dirty. You touch everything, and it looks exactly the same as the day I got it. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna say that. Okay, so Motor Trend did the best luxury vehicle. I
Oh
think
yes,
a year or
Jason
two
King's
ago,
stuff.
and they said it was a Ram 1500,
Hmm.
right? Like I totally understand where they're coming from. The Ram 1500 is absolutely beautiful inside. It's quiet. It has all the right materials, the soft touch, everything. When I look at this truck, I mean, like obviously I'm not seeing it in person, but when I'm looking at this, I don't feel the same vibe from it.
I know what you mean because yeah, I just don't feel the. It doesn't have the presence. It doesn't have the wow
No,
factor that you're really looking for in a
even
flagship truck.
even a Denali, the old Denali Sierra, not the old one, the I guess the current gen interior, the one that really no one
That we
liked.
don't like. Yeah.
I was,
It's a big step up from the normal one, which is
yeah,
absolutely trash. This is not as big of a step up.
I think the regular Tundra already does really good interior. The Platinum's
Yeah,
interior is already really good. I don't think they did enough
yeah.
to make
We don't
this.
know the price point yet, so if it's like a $2,000 difference, then whatever. You
I
just
mean, if
pick
it's
the one that you want.
yeah, I think this is going to be like $1,000 difference. Like
Yeah,
looking at the differences, like I'll give it a grand more because all the features that this has, the Platinum has, other than the power side steps.
except for the acoustic front door glass.
Oh
So that
gosh,
is a exclusive feature on the capstone edition that none of the other Tundras get is the slightly different front door glass. I guess the windshield is acoustic because trucks have been doing that for a while, but the door glass is a little bit different. It's going to be available, but I guess that means it's not standard with variables, adaptive suspension, and the air ride height control.
mm.
Um, just one less thing to break, I guess, so they don't keep it
Yeah,
standard.
it's a Toyota. It will never break. Actually,
Yeah,
that's not true. The air ride on Toyotas, they break over time.
your mic just went way quieter. I think.
Oh, what?
That's
No, the I was just saying the Toyota air rides they do break over time. My friend had
Hmm.
a LX 470 and that broke.
Yeah, I think the GX has had it too, and same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone ends up converting to. Actually, speaking of Toyota trucks, like everyone is like, we gotta buy these for all the reliability. I've had so many come in to our shop, and it's just like these are the best built trucks, and then they just have the laundry list of stuff they need to do when they pick this car up. It's like, okay, let's get rid of the air suspension. Let's get rid of if it's a foreigner, get rid of the X-Reus. And it's like control arms, like every bushing is destroyed. Obviously, I mean, because people are buying trucks that have 300,000 k on them, thinking that they're reliable, reliable, and then like you do a timing chain or whatever, or I don't know what it is, uh, some engine stuff, and you're at a $5,000 or $6,000 bill, like pretty quickly. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't really get the appeal for a lot of these trucks. But no, back to Tundra Capstone. Yeah, maybe I think we need to know pricing to really judge it. But it's a different take on a top of the line truck than we've seen from other manufacturers, and that's kind of nice. Because like even looking at the grill, right? Instead of going full chrome, which they have on the other models, it's body color
Mhm.
on the frame, and then the chrome is actually kind of subtle.
Yeah.
Despite the grill is 4 feet wide and like 3 feet tall, so it's not small, but the chrome is relatively subtle. The way they've done it on this, so
Yeah.
they've kind of stepped it down a notch um, from traditional.
Which I
Yeah,
mean, when I think truck top trim, I'm thinking chrome. Like there's so much chrome on a Denali, there's so much chrome on a Ram Limited. Like it just makes sense. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta see it. I personally actually haven't seen a Tundra in person yet.
Hmm.
But I guess we'll judge it a little bit more then. But
Yeah.
Toyota also released a little picture a few days ago, actually just yesterday. Yeah, just yesterday. They released a picture on the rear three-quarter of a vehicle. They didn't specifically say what it was, but if you take the image and you play around with the contrast a little, there's actually a little like writing on the bottom left that's hidden within the image. And it says, all new debut, the forest and its trees almost in view.
The forest and
Clearly,
trees.
clearly talking about a foreigner, right? Nah. Obviously, it's the Nx Sequoia. So this is the rear three-quarter view, and we don't get a lot from this. We just get
Yeah.
that third window that's in the back. I'm gonna say it's a lot smaller than the current Sequoia.
Yeah, I'm curious because okay, so Sequoia it's that body on frame truck SUV 3-row thing. Uh, the domestics they have kind of different sizes. Actually, no, Jeep doesn't have different sizes. They only have the Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah,
Um,
Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer same size. Yep.
yeah. Um, so, but this SUV is so unpopular. I don't even know why they make it historically. Um, so I have high hopes. Like I think Toyota is realizing that they cannot just slap because okay, 90% of the Toyota range, you can slap a Toyota badge on it and people buy it because it's a Toyota. The Sequoia is not that vehicle. Like I think out of the whole range, the Sequoia is probably the least desirable, and the sales figures they don't lie. Uh, over the last 10 years, or actually more than 10 years, we've sold less than 1,000, only averaging maybe about 700 units a year in Canada. 700, that's less than a 911 Porsche. Like, that is a low volume car. Uh, in the States, not much better in the teens. Like, so they had decent sales up until about '08, and then like the gas crisis hit, recession hit, and no one wants the big SUVs anymore. But you still see a lot of Tahoes, Suburbans,
Mhm.
Yukons, Escalades, Expeditions, whatever, when you go down to the States. But Sequoias never because they sell, they average what, 12, 13,000 a year of those over the last 15 years. Like it's a really poor seller. Uh, and in Canada, we actually sell more LXs, which is already a pretty low volume, not that popular truck. We sell more LXs here than Sequoias. I don't remember the last time I've seen a new Sequoia. I have seen the TRD one actually. I saw okay, the
Seen,
TRD one made its way into the hands of every reviewer on YouTube. I feel like, yeah.
I okay. So the problem with Sequoia, the way that I see it is,
Mhm.
Toyota makes a really good large SUV, the Land Cruiser. We don't get the Land Cruiser. We actually never got the Land Cruiser in Canada. The LX was the only one that we ever got, so we had to get the luxury version. The Land Cruiser was available in the States until just recently. The 300 series is not available, the brand new one. Why don't they just give us that?
Yeah, no, they killed off the Land Cruiser in the States up until this year. So this generation, we don't get the Land Cruiser. Okay, I mean, so here's the thing. Toyota also makes other 3-row SUVs. The Highlander is very popular, obviously. The Forerunner, also available in the 3-row, is not great as a 3-row SUV, but it's still a popular vehicle. Like you got to keep making that. It's a bread and butter car.
Well, they are also making a Grand Highlander.
Oh, nice.
That's
Is it
something
coming here?
that's something that's going to be coming to our shores for sure. Um,
Nice.
the Grand Highlander, currently there's no information on it, but uh, the rumors suggest it's a unibody 3-row SUV that's larger than the Highlander, but smaller than the Sequoia.
Yeah. So here's my problem with the Sequoia. The current or the outgoing model is it's a body on frame SUV. Body on frame is going to give you a few key advantages. One is off-road capability, which they absolutely destroyed going from the Land Cruiser to the Sequoia because they don't. It's not really meant for anything off-road, which is okay. This can be your suburban soccer mom truck thing, but the Highlander is better at being a comfortable daily vehicle because you don't have solid axles. You have more cushy suspension. It's a more compliant vehicle. It's lighter. It's going to be better on gas because it's a unibody. Um, okay. So the other thing is towing capacity, which the 2021 Sequoia tows 7,400 pounds. 7,400, like, okay, that's less than a Cayenne, which handles better. Like it's in two different like ends of the spectrum as far as SUV handling, a Cayenne and a Sequoia. How can you tow less than a V6 Cayenne or a ML or GLE or a X5 or anything like that? 7,400 pounds is absolutely pathetic. And so you have all of the cons of a body on frame SUV with none of the pros because okay, a Yukon XL is not going to tow, but it's ginormous inside. But the Sequoia is not. Like that's the thing is even a Tahoe is very roomy, and I don't get that from the Sequoia. Like the third row on the Sequoia is not as good as the domestics, at least in my opinion. So it's got a compromised ride, fuel economy, off-road capability, towing capacity. What is the appeal of this vehicle? I just it boggles my mind. And hopefully all this is addressed with the upcoming generation.
So the
Yeah.
current Sequoia, it's been around since 2008, and they're still selling it for 71,000 Canadian dollars.
That's
Base.
why they don't move.
Like
Selling in air quotes because no people have to be buying to be considered selling. So it's rated at 13 miles per gallon city, which is 18
Oof.
rating. So
Yeah,
you're lucky to see
that's a
anything
2022
that doesn't start with a 2
Yeah.
on your yeah. The interior is so dated. It's just well, okay, let's not talk about the old one, but it's just like what it represents in the market. It just doesn't make sense, and there's a reason why it has not succeeded. And now we have stiff competition from Jeep. I
Yeah.
think the Grand Cherokee L.
The Grand Cherokee L is kind of there, except the Grand Cherokee L is a unibody
Unibody, yeah.
vehicle.
Except
So
it's better off road. It tows more.
it tows
It's more
more.
comfortable.
Yeah.
It's more roomy. It does everything better.
I
And
think this is to compete more towards like the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer.
if we take it literally, but I don't think it will be priced at that 100K.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
level.
that high of a price range. Wagoneer is, I think it's 80 to start, which
Yeah.
I can see the Sequoia
Because to
getting
me,
there.
the Wagoneer is more LX.
Yeah, it's definitely more high end.
Yeah.
It's definitely more
It's
high
more
end.
in the range of the LX, the Escalade, maybe some entry level Range Rover
Yeah.
products. Which again, Range Rover, a Range Rover Sport tows more than a Sequoia.
The thing is, the new Tahoe is really nice.
It's so nice. The new, even the Expedition, we had that Timberline
Yeah,
we talked about a few episodes ago. Pretty nice.
like those are really like the domestic market has completely stepped up. Toyota really needs something here that's well, that's just a
They
lot more
can't you
viable.
can't just bank on reliability at the end of the day because
Well, it's not
what
going
is
to
this
have that
doing that
reliability anyways, because it's going to
well
be a completely new engine here. We don't know about the
well
reliability of that new engine.
the brand value is there. Like if you bought an '08 iForce 5.7 Sequoia, you're doing pretty good even if you bought that brand new. Like you're not taking a huge risk there. But the thing is like you're not beating your own 3-row SUV.
Yeah,
It's kind of sad. Like I don't see why I would pay an extra Camry's worth over a Highlander to get
to get this.
Well,
Yeah,
let's say that the 2021. I don't want to say anything about 2022 without actually knowing what it brings to the table.
right.
If it's got the frame improvements that we're seeing on the Tundra, and it's got that max power plant, then there is a lot of potential there. There is room for them to step it up. But based on this three-quarter view, it looks small. It looks even smaller than a Tahoe. It looks about Grand Cherokee L size, and that's the thing is like a
Yeah.
Grand Cherokee L is gonna be. I can't think of. There are no areas where the Grand Cherokee L is worse than the outgoing Sequoia, at least. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Taking a break from Toyota, let's
Mhm.
talk a little bit about Honda. So Honda released two images. It's the 2023 Honda HRV. So there are two images that they posted, and it's like in a snowy looking thing, and they look quite good. The thing is, in other parts of the world, there's already an HRV. It was released earlier this year, I think. No, sorry, earlier last year. And it kind of looks okay. It's kind of bland, to be honest. But Honda's supposedly moving into this world car thing. So like the Civic is a world car now. A few generation, actually last generation, the 10th generation, it wasn't a world car because there was a different like a different Civic that you can get in other parts of the world. I thought the HRV that was in Europe would be the HRV that we get here. But from these images, it doesn't seem like it's the case. The headlights are different, the grills are different, the window outline is completely different.
Mm,
Like there's so much differences in these images.
yeah.
To me, I don't think it's going to be the same car. They're not just bringing that here.
Yeah, I think it might be like Toyota, where you have like, oh, this is the TNGA platform, and we're going to use on everything, and so it shares a platform, may even share an engine, which may or may not, just because North American driving is kind of different than
Mhm.
European driving. Um, it it is in line with the rest of the lineup, but the images we've seen of the European one is very. I guess the big takeaway is how sloped that rear the C pillar is.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is no D pillar. Like
the
the North American rendering has a D pillar,
yeah, and it actually has a window behind
the back
the
door.
the back door there,
Yeah.
which the European version doesn't have. The current HRV, I don't believe it has that neither, because that's where the door handle is. I mean, I really like the HRV. Like, okay, the engine, yes, is gutless. It's
The interior
horrible.
is so plain.
The interior is plain, but the amount of space that you get
Mm.
in an HRV, it's just
It's
amazing. It's
really
exactly the
solid
same
with the
as a
magic
Honda Fit.
seats,
Exactly. The magic seats in the back, which was released back
which
in
is why the European
07.
one doesn't make sense. Like it just like why would you do like
Like a
do your
sloped
practicality so dirty by sloping it like that? Because you want to put something longer, let's say, I don't know, a mini
chest of
fridge,
drawers.
yeah, anything, a desk, anything, it just won't fit because of you only have about maybe 2 feet of maybe 3 feet of maximum length. It just
Just
it won't
everyone
work
loves
out.
a coupe SUV.
And it's like it's not even that coopy. It's like the
No, it
Atlas.
really isn't.
And it okay. The I will say the North American one, in my opinion, at least based on the rendering, looks better. It looks more cohesive.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's just a rendering.
it is just a rendering, but it's official Honda rendering. So it's not car magazine
Yeah,
A drawing some picture.
the thing is,
Um,
the 11th Gen Civic rendering also look really good,
yeah,
and the
and they took
Integra,
the tail lights off of the Integra rendering
yeah,
as well
like
to for the HRV.
it looks really good. And then we saw it in real life, and we're like, ugh. Or
Yeah,
we saw it in the first photos. We're like, ugh.
yeah,
I,
really good. I don't
yeah,
know. It does look very Audi Q3.
yeah, it definitely
Um,
has a more upscale vibe.
yeah, it's so much nicer in a CHR.
Oh,
The CHR.
CHR shouldn't exist.
I have some customers with the CHR, and they're usually people from overseas
Mm.
that just moved to this country, and they're like, "Oh, we'll get a SUV. We'll buy Toyota. It's the
Like
brand we know and love."
you have better options now. I mean, the Corolla Cross is so much better than
Okay,
the
I was
CH.
looking at the Corolla Cross just like out of curiosity. My friend asked me about it. I looked at it, and it's the same price as a Rav4.
Yeah,
It's within $500 of the Rav4, which is a way more popular car.
but then you don't have the Corolla heritage name. You can be
Uh,
like, hey, my car back in '86, it was actually used in
Initial D.
initial D, it was
It's very
drifting.
famous.
What does your RAV4 have? Like nothing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, the HRV, I mean, I think it looks good in the renders. We'll have to wait to see, to see exactly what it's going to look like in real life. High hopes for this car. The HRV in other markets, they actually put the 1.5 turbo in it,
Mm.
and the 1.5 turbo is a good engine, 200 horse, front wheel drive. I think that one had a 6-speed too. Like it was a hot version of the HRV. Um, I can see it. I can see them making it
I think
because
the biggest obstacle is really price point. Is like how can they build this
yeah,
at a price that doesn't make you think, hey, why don't I spend $1,000 more and get a CRV?
CRV is
Like,
huge.
but people don't care. Like, if I'm in the same showroom, like, okay, it's
Yeah.
not that people don't care. It's like, what is a dealer? Assuming we're in a pre 2021 world where dealers had inventory and everything, is like, what dealer is gonna push you towards this car when for $1,000 more you can get way more room? And that's the
Yeah.
problem with the Corolla Cross is that you go XLE versus XLE. I think it might have been the same,
Hmm.
like less than $500 between them, and I cannot make it work. And that's with a lesser drivetrain, I think, on
Yeah,
the Corolla Cross.
the Corolla Cross only has that 2 liter.
Yeah, and even the base Rav4 is 2.5.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know much about
I think
gas
it's the same engine.
Rav4s.
I think it's the same engine across all RF4s. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay, same as the hybrid. I really don't know anything about non-hybrid RAV4s because I don't know. Okay, and then that was the other thing too. Was like why are people buying gas RAV4s? Because when I bought my RAV4, I only wanted the hybrid, but I looked at the gas one just to see,
Well, you
right?
can
And
get the hybrid doesn't go that base as the gas one does. The gas one you get one lower trim, like the L, right?
no, they still LE, but the gas one LE comes with hubcaps, so
I
it's
remember. So my
you
friend
can get
actually,
front wheel drive.
I think that's what it was, because my friend was looking at a rough, like she wanted an SUV and she wanted to lease one for the cheapest amount as possible.
Mm.
And I was like, why don't you get a hybrid? It's gonna save you on fuel. It's gonna like pan out, in the
Yeah, the
4 years,
resale
anyways.
difference is insane.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
she ended up going with the gas one because it was actually quite a bit, it was substantially cheaper.
Yeah, for my year, as I went XLE versus XLE, it was a $1,500. Actually, sorry. Yeah, it's a $1,500 difference
Hmm.
to go hybrid. I'm like the gas savings, the resale value, just everything. It just doesn't make sense to go non
1,500, you can
hybrid.
make that in 2 years for sure.
You'll make that driving it off the lot because the depreciation
Just
difference
well,
alone
I'm just
is.
talking about like the fuel
Yeah,
savings
so
itself.
I'm like, how short-sighted do you have to be? But yeah, I won't judge people that hard on their decisions, but
Well, I mean, a gasoline version of the RAV4 has an actual off-road button,
has a drive shaft. No, I have a
and
trail button.
yeah, but this one has an actual off-road button, and it has not a limited slip, but it has trick rear diff. I think
That's only if you get the trail,
the trail
whatever.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. So going back to the Corolla Cross versus the Rav4, Corolla Cross XLE all-wheel drive base, they don't really come higher trim than base. Like XLE is the top of the Corolla Cross. You can't go XSE limited, anything like that. But XLE all-wheel drive starts at 33.9.
Mm.
XLE all-wheel drive RAV4 is 34.5. So $500 difference. And if the HRV has that same problem, that's where it just won't make sense, because the
Right.
fit that it kind of replaces
Yeah.
started at below 20.
Yeah, it
So
was
you
like
would never
20K.
even have that conversation like between a fit and a CRV, because it would just be two different worlds. It would be
Yeah.
a 30, if not more, percent difference. But with the RAV4 and the Corolla, it's a 1% difference in price. So it's it's a one monthly payment difference between a 39-month and the 40-month finance. So hopefully, to get the 1.5 turbo, that's why I just don't see it, because they need to keep the price down. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But if it's just that 2-liter that they had, that 2-liter was quite slow. Actually, was it? No, it was a 1.5.
Yeah. If it's the Fit engine, it's the Fit had a 1.8 Earth
1.8.
Dreams, which was like 130 horsepower. I remember test driving the manual of that. Honda had a press car that's in a manual for whatever reason.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
pretty
fun.
slow. It was a really nice manual transmission,
Yeah.
but then everything else driving wise was pretty meh.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that car. 100%. It was orange.
Oh, the one I had was early on. It was black.
Oh.
It was a 2015. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
the first year of that generation Fit.
Oh, mine was like a 2019, I think.
Um,
Anyways, let's move
back
on
to Toyota.
Back to Toyota news. Toyota reviewed a bunch of concepts. Like, was it 3-4 weeks ago? They not even, actually more than that now.
Yeah,
A little while ago, they released a bunch of concept cars and stuff
all
that
the
they're going to come
EV
up with.
stuff. Yeah.
But now we got some exciting stuff, because we got some Gazoo racing in
Gazoo.
not inspired, but like Gazoo racing concepts. So the first one is a Gt3 Concept. This thing looks amazing.
Yeah, think
It's
like AMG GTR proportions. Like
yeah,
it's got a
super
really,
long
really long
hood.
hood, and you sit on top of the rear wheels. Like nothing cooler than that. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like
it's yeah, absolutely.
TVR Viper. Nothing cooler than that.
Yeah, it's a really good looking
Yeah.
vehicle.
So it's a
The
GR GT3. There's no real name for it.
yeah,
And I don't think it's actually going to be a production vehicle. I think they're talking about this is a car we're going to sell to people to race. Like it's going to be a GT3 race car. That's just about it.
yeah. I mean, if
We
Toyota
don't
can
really know anything about it, but it's so good looking. It doesn't look like any other Toyota. Like
yeah, I was gonna say. I
we
mean,
have not seen these lines from Toyota.
if Toyota can make something this good looking, what are they doing with the rest of the lineup? Like, I mean, come on, give me.
Yeah, and I
Especially
mean,
on the
speaking of
sports
that,
cars.
like, okay, even looking at the next car, which is a GRMN Yaris, a GRMN Yaris, that is a cool car, but it's not a pretty car.
No, there's bulges everywhere. It's like it's definitely not the prettiest thing, but it's super cool.
Yeah.
So the GR Yaris already, you can buy one in parts of Europe and whatnot, Japan, I think, as well. But essentially, it's a Yaris that's rally inspired with a very hot 3-cylinder. But this GRMN Yaris, like it's like walled body kit on top of it.
Yeah, it's got really crazy aero. So okay, well, there's actually two versions of this car. So GRMN, GRMN stands for Gazoo Racing, tuned by Meister of Nürburgring, so the master of the Nürburgring. But they're coming with two versions. So there's a circuit version and a rally version. So two cars, but they're limiting it to 500 units, I think. And it's only going to be available in Japan, and you're only going to get it based on a lottery system. So it's very exclusive. And what that tells me is none of these are going to see any rallying. None of these are going to see the track, because if you make a car that exclusive, it's just going to collect dust. Like you may see one driven on like best motoring. That's about it, because it's just too precious to enjoy, which
Right.
I hate about a lot of sports cars right now, especially in the market that we have right now. Everything is like, this week alone we saw two S2000s pop up in our local marketplace in the six-figure range because they're super clean, super low mileage. And it's like, we have an amazing, we really respect this driver's car, and what are we going to do to honor that driver's car? We're going to park it in a garage and not move it for the rest of its life, because that's what we do, because it's a six-figure Honda. Like, what, if you get a scratch on it, then it's not original anymore. It's,
Yeah.
you got to protect your investment. And that just disgusts me, I think. So one, oh yeah, there was two. One already sold, actually. But yeah, that's my concern. Whenever you limit something, like, why go through all this effort for no one to be able to enjoy it? That is, it doesn't seem Toyota to me to make something like this. But yeah, I mean, the LFA, I kind of get that. Like, that's a different, but this is a Yaris. So between the two models, okay, so it's the same engine as before. They both get the rear seat delete. The rear seat delete says 50 pounds.
Woo!
So it's about like one trip. Like, the camera gear that you pack for your reviews is probably around there.
I mean, I could just lose that in a diet.
You don't stand to lose that much. Yeah, but one of the cool things, okay, so this is something that no one will ever see, is an additional 545 spot welds on the car.
Ooh.
That's one thing that made the Integra Type R so cool, was that they spot welded stuff and at the factory level, and an extra 12 meters of structural adhesive. So it's just glued together, so it's just a tighter chassis, stiffer chassis.
It's more rigid.
Yeah. Both of them are going to get the carbon fiber hood. Both are going to have a 10 millimeter wider track, and they're both 10 millimeters lower. They still have a kind of awkward wheel gap, though, if you ask me.
The rally one is massive wheel gap, but
yeah,
that,
it doesn't look
it makes
that
sense.
rally. Like, it's
Well, there's two images that I found, like on Gazoo Racing. There's this one here with the kind of street looking wheels,
yeah,
but the other image that's in the main one, it has
like
rally wheels.
off-road wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks amazing on it.
But based on the description I read, that's not really what it comes with. So the circuit version, the track version, track day special, comes with 18-inch wheels. They say 18-inch brakes, but I think that's like the overall diameter of the brake caliper or something. I guess it's 18-inch, but it's not 18-inch brake rotor. You
It's
can't
huge.
fit an 18-inch rotor under an 18-inch
18-inch wheel.
Doesn't work like that.
It's magic.
Bilstein adjustable shocks, and a big GT wing, which I remember seeing some reviews that they were talking about how the GRR just doesn't have enough aero. Then they added this wing to it, and they say it still doesn't have enough aero. So it's got a side skirt, a little bit different ground effects, just sportier, more track oriented, a little bit tacky, to be honest. And
Do they
I
have a
don't know.
carbon roof?
The
Because there's a
carbon-
picture of a carbon roof. That looks really cool.
Oh, okay. So that carbon roof is part of the 50 pounds weight savings there. So the carbon roof, the rear seat delete, and the carbon hood. $10,000 later, you save 50 pounds. Yeah.
You can lose more at Jenny Craig.
Yeah, it would be cheaper to it would be cheaper to buy a Peloton. So, but no, it's cool, but it's just like, I don't know. For me, the regular GRRs is probably the one I would get, and I would just do it up my way.
Well, yeah,
because
I
it
mean,
just
the regular one, like, even if you can get this, at limited being limited at 500, it just means that you really shouldn't drive it hard. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
with those limited numbers, like, you kind of want to keep it away. You kind of want to, like, put it on, bring a trailer 10 years later for like 10 times the price. But the regular one, you can just buy and bomb it around, do whatever you want to it, and
Yeah,
have
I wonder
fun
if
with it.
Toyota will do a thing where they like, if we catch you trying to flip this car, you're banned. You can't even buy Corolla anymore. Like you're done. But I doubt it. It's not
No,
like Ferrari or
yeah,
whatever. It's like
definitely not a Ferrari type
yeah.
manufacturer.
But that would be cool, honestly. If you come from a manufacturer, it's like if we see that you put less than 1,000 K on this a year, if you're the Sultan of Brunei, because you see the Sultan of Brunei and like the cars, the beautiful cars that just rot away
Yeah,
in his storage. It's just it,
it's kind of sad.
and there's a bunch of those in Dubai and just like
Yep.
places where people just have money, and like if we don't see you actually drive it, we're taking like we shouldn't have given you that lottery ticket that you got the chance to buy this car from us.
Right.
So we need to see. You need to show us track day footage. You need to show us.
Minimum one track day a
You need to
year.
bring your car in every year, and we got to check your odometer. Otherwise, we take it from you. Like that would be sick.
Yeah,
Like
that
I just want
definitely
people driving and enjoying cars.
sounds like a manufacturer either from China or North Korea.
Tesla also. Well, they're strict about like flipping.
Yeah, flipping. Yeah, that's for sure. The next concept that they have is one that
It's
I
so
really like.
exciting.
The one I like the most. It's this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
It's the BZ4X, which is the SUV that looks kind of like a RAV4,
Yeah.
but it's a
The full
GR
electric.
Sport concept.
Ooh.
And all I can see that they did on this kind of concept is on the wheel arches, it's glossy black. They got glossy black wheels and they put a GR badge on it and they lowered it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? If
It
I'm
looks
gonna
decent.
if I pick up a BZ4X, that's what I'm gonna do to it.
Yeah, it is. So it's one of these like concept cars that don't raise the bar much, but it's like a very realistic and practical concept. It's like this is what we think you might want to do with this car, and this is what a lot of people will probably do with this car. And so that's what we're gonna do to it. And it's just like pretty boring wheels and supposedly nicer seats, but I haven't
You
seen a
can't see the
picture.
inside, at
Yeah,
all. But
so I can't confirm that, but
glossy black plastic rather than that matte plastic, I think that sets it apart.
no, the front bumper is matte plastic.
Oh, is it?
They changed it. So compared to the regular BZ4X where the front bumper is all body color, this one is I, I think it's matte black. I can't confirm it. The picture
The
sucks.
picture is like super dark. You can't see a thing on it. It's the fender. Are the fender
No,
flares?
it's not. The fender flares are
Glossy?
gloss, and then the car's kind of got a satin finish to it.
Hmm.
That's about it.
Well, I mean, either way, I think it looks cool. You know, like it looks like a pretty cool little SUV electric thing. I mean, zero performance value out of it. It's kind of like all my cars that I've ever had. Just kind of looks cool, but zero performance. Perfect. And then another concept that they put out.
Yeah.
This one's a little weird. So they have the NX, which is a brand new Lexus SUV that they got. But it's
But
been
they're gonna
lifted.
sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, but they're not ever going to sell it like this, and no one's going to do this to their NX.
I don't know about that.
I
Because
don't-
This package is very familiar. I don't know why it's very familiar, but it's very familiar. So
Who's going to lift their NX and put KO2s on it?
so this is the Nxp Hev off-road concept. So part of the idea of this concept, right, is that we're talking to off-road people, like people that want to go outdoors and wear Patagonias and and it just makes sense.
You're just putting them all.
And it just makes sense that we're gonna market a electric vehicle or a hybrid vehicle or a plug-in hybrid vehicle to this market. It kind of makes sense. We're off-roading or overlanding into the 21st century now. We can put away the Toyota 4-liter V6 that gets 25 liters per 100K. We can move away from that. It doesn't have to be all Wranglers and V8s and all this stuff.
I'm sorry. This is an $80,000 luxury SUV that
Yeah.
Lexus sells as the performance variant,
Yes.
and you lift it and put KO2s on it. And you
Lift and KO2, and they're not just any KO2s. Okay, so normally, because okay, the NX and the RAV4 are basically the same, very similar cars. Normally, so the RAV4 comes with 28.5-inch tires. Most people go up to from 225/65 to 245/65, bringing you to what is known as a 30-inch tire. 30-inch tire already looks really cool on a RAV4. Some people, like myself, will go up to 31, which is a two. I'm running a 245/70/17. This one is a 265/65/17. So same diameter, but even wider. Gives it a really fat off-roady look. And it's actually the same diameter and width as the TRD Pro Tacoma. So think about it that way. So the Tacoma TRD Pro is probably the most off-road capable truck that Toyota makes, and they put the same size tire onto the NX, which is pretty nuts. If
So
you
this
ask,
doesn't steer.
I'm surprised. I would be surprised if this tried because I get a little bit of rubbing on 245s. Like I played around with spacers and everything, and I've gotten it to the point where 99% of the time it will not rub. I took off the mud flaps, and it's just like I'm curious if this steers because I'm curious if it runs because the fender is the same. The bumper is really low slung. Like there's no off-road capability in this whatsoever because the bumper is so close to the ground. The NX just, I think all Lexus SUVs, the GX, everyone complains about this because it's like kind of the off-roady model and it just got the bumper right off the ground. So yeah, I don't think there's really that much off-road capability. The bronze color is
I like it.
weird to me.
I like it.
Like I don't mind it, but I would rather have gone with like a sandy color, like
We've done sandy color though. Sandy color is like 2 years ago on a TRD Pro.
This bronze is like
This is
something the Sultan of Brunei would
this
try.
exactly. This is luxury off-roading, right? It's an $80,000 luxury
It's kind of like
compact
rose
SUV.
goldy.
It's perfect. I love this color.
This color makes sense. I just don't get it on an off-road scenario.
A satin gold.
Yeah, they could have done even wrong. Just their normal pewter color. I don't know. They call it iron oxide, which is which is keyword for rust.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay. Oh, one thing that's not beautiful though is the roof rack. So everyone overlanding's gotten so big over the last 2 years. Everyone's talking about Prinsu racks, if you front runner racks. I don't know if you've seen these, but they're low profile, really sleek, really handsome racks, and the point is they distribute the weight. So if you put a rooftop tent on there, it's going to work better than your typical just two crossbars. The roof rack that they put on this NX, I think what happened with this off-road concept is that they gave someone at Lexus North America like very little time to make a concept. So they just sent it out to local wrap shop, get a wrapped rust color, and then they're like, we can buy these tires because they're the same size as a 4Runner or a TRD Pro Taco. So we'll get some Taco tires.
They just had it lying around.
We just need to tow it to the auto show. That's about it. And then the roof rack is straight off of like your dealer's accessory catalog because it's the most high profile, like basic looking roof rack, like generic universal. It's like 6 inches tall. So it's way too high. So you can't even go into like any parkade because of how high that roof rack is. And it's not really going to distribute weight all that well. Like one of those tires is probably going to max out what that rack can carry. So the roof rack is an afterthought. I don't know. I think this whole concept is pretty cool, but like I'm suspicious of how much effort and time and budget was allocated to this project.
It wasn't much.
This is something I could whip up in like 3 days.
Should
Like
hire you instead.
if Toyota Canada brought their car to overdrive, it would be I could whip this up in 3 days. Just saying.
Some more stuff from Toyota is they're making heritage parts. So they're making parts for the 2020, the A70 Supra, the A80 Supra, 2000 GT, Land Cruiser 40, the 86 Corolla, and the Sprinter Torrento. So they're making genuine parts for those vehicles.
Yeah,
which
reproductions.
it's actually quite cool. Like Toyota wants to keep those old cars alive. Like I mean, like the cheapest vehicle that's on that list is probably a 86.
Mark III Supra is cheap too. A70.
You can't really find them.
Not a clean one, but
yeah.
But it does bring new life to cars that would otherwise become iron oxide. Like just sit away and slowly rot. That's pretty cool that they're reproducing these parts.
It's definitely cool. So that way, if you have older Toyotas, you can still have brand new parts for your vehicle. You don't have to have it rust away because everything's going away, just like BMW here. So perfect segue. The 2020
BMW is not going away.
No, BMW is not going away. They can't go away, but they are creating the last V12 7 Series.
12 of the last V12.
They're calling it they're calling it the final V12. There's 12 of these that's going to be released in the US. They have an MSRP of $200,000. That's a lot. So what's different about this last V12 over the M760 that you can get? So you get 20-inch wheels. It's the M double spoke wheel style 760. So it's a little bit different in terms of the wheel design. You can get it in a gray or black. The center console is going to have a plaque. There's going to be plaques on the engine bay. The back of the vehicle, instead of saying M760, it's going to have a V12 badge. On the door thresholds, it's going to say the vinyl V12. And there's a gift. Some special gift.
Extended warranty? Oh.
No. No, you're not going to get that. But there's a special gift that you're going to get. You can have it in any color out of their individual paint colors. You can have it in any of their full Merino leather tone individual colors like on the inside. The trim is going to be a piano black finish, and you get M Sport brakes in black or blue.
Nice.
It's going to have all the options. So like the panoramic sky lounge, LED sunroof, the control parking, like everything that you can get on a 7 Series, you're going to get on this. There's no pictures, of course, because
it's just a 7 Series.
It's just a 760 with a V12 logo on it. Like, I mean, this V12 is very different than V12s of the past. I think it's twin turbo, single scroll turbos. Like this is a V12 that makes decent power. I mean, 601 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque. Like it makes good power.
But V12 is not about power.
V12 is not about power, right? Yeah, it's about the delivery. It's the smoothness of that. Thing is, twin turbo V8s deliver smooth power. They really do now, right? Yeah. Like I had an Alpina XB7 and the power delivery on that was phenomenal. It's the same power plant that you can get in the Alpina B7. And I think it's more than sufficient. So like this is really so that you can say you have a V12.
Well, the reason why they had the V12 is that people would go into the dealership and just be, I want the most expensive one, give me that. And it's the same with Mercedes. Like remember S65 AMG, but the S63 was like significant, like 50 grand cheaper and faster, and sounded better,
Yeah.
arguably. Um, so the N74 engine, which is what's in the 7 Series, it does live on though. So it's not really the last of the V12, if I'm not mistaken, because the Rolls-Royce Cullinan still has this engine.
Mm.
The Rolls-Royce Phantom still has this engine, and the Rolls-Royce Ghost also, which is the 7 Series, also has this engine.
Don't
And
tell people that. People who have
but
Rolls
it will
Royce
probably be
Ghosts
the last BMW branded product to
to have
have
a
the
V12. Because
V12.
this is it. The 7 Series is the only vehicle in their entire lineup that has a V12.
Hmm.
They didn't put it in their SUVs. They never bothered.
Yeah, it does remind me of the 90s S class where they had the V12 everywhere.
Oh, I
Like,
love that.
yeah, those are so cool. I remember I always saw the same black one. I don't know if it's the same one, but it's like they only made that car in black. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted a V12 car because like just the saying of, oh yeah, I got a V12 under the hood. Like it's just that's just something that's really cool. I looked on
You know which one
Craigslist.
we should get is the Century,
Said, oh, the
the Toyota
Toyota
Century.
Century with the
Yeah,
V12. I was like, what V12 are you talking about?
the Buick Century.
I mean, that has a 6-cylinder. No, the V12 I always wanted was the CL600s.
Mm, yeah.
The late 2000 model year
Oh, the
C
curvier one.
the curvier one. That
Nice.
one was the one I always
With
wanted.
no B pillars.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You should never
it's
get
so
a
cool.
coupe with B pillars.
Yeah,
That was a cool V12 for me.
yeah,
I remember Clarkson did a Top Gear review on that one when he had it, and he was like, it takes like 2 seconds to accelerate from 60 to 100 or something like that. I can't remember exactly
yeah,
what it is, but he was just saying how phenomenal that V12 was.
yeah. And they had it in Forza too. I remember.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like the ultra heavyweight race that you get to drive.
It's like it, there's really no reason to buy this car. I think
Yeah,
the final V12. I mean, being that there's only 12, no one's gonna put this in a museum. I don't think, anyways. Like I'm sure there's gonna be one that's on sale that's low mileage, whatever. It's gonna be like extra, special, whatever. But I think it's just gonna be used by some guy. I don't think anyone would really care about it.
mm.
That's what I think. Anyways, you had a rant.
I did, but then I do realize I have to leave in like 5
Oh,
minutes, so
so no rant from Justin.
we could save it till we have
More time next week.
more time next week. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. All right. Well, that's
Did you release any videos? We could.
I did. What did I release this last week? I don't remember. It's been 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Ooh, yeah. My dad's looking at those, but I think we're gonna go Outlander PHEV. Um,
Oh, I
just
was like,
because.
in my head, I was thinking of the outgoing Outlander.
No,
I was like,
no, it's
why?
coming. So it's coming in September. I put my name down for an Outlander PHEV
Oh,
just to see. Like,
can I see it when
we
you get
don't
it?
know. Like, I don't. They can't even. They don't even have a gas one for me to look at. But
Oh, really?
yeah, because
Hmm,
they're all spoken for, so they can't even let me test drive a gas one.
hmm.
But yeah, the Outlander. So the Outlander kind of interesting because it's a Rogue,
Yeah,
right? But it kind of slots in between the Rogue and the Pathfinder,
it
right?
kind of does because it's a little bit bigger.
Doesn't have the towing capacity of Pathfinder. That's kind of
Oh
a
no,
big
the
takeaway.
Pathfinder actually tows the most out of those unibody.
Almost as much as a Sequoia. No.
It's actually kind of crazy because I remember when I reviewed it, I was like, huh, that's actually a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
6,000 pounds.
And it's got what, 8 speed now or
Yeah, no, 9 speed.
nine
9 speed?
speed?
8 speed.
It's better than an Xtronic CVT.
I don't remember. No,
No.
the I don't remember was an 8 or 9 speed. I think it's a ZF. It's a 9. No, it's a ZF 8. I don't.
9 speed. 9 speed.
9 speed. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I know you defended CVTs, and I'm with you. I don't have any problems with CVT transmissions. I'm going to say this. I like CVTs in some cars because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're not flooring it all the time. Everyone complains about CVTs like, oh, when you floor it, the engine is so loud, it's so coarse. You're never flooring a car. You know, like my dad has never like used like the top 40% of his rev range in his vehicle before. No one revs out their car. Even if you need to pass someone, you dip the throttle a little bit more. You don't completely rev it up. So the whole, oh, the engine sounds like horrible trash. That's whatever. Yes, the 9 speed, you feel a little bit more gear shifts. So it's a little bit more natural. But this combo with the 9 speed, it's not any better on gas than it was.
Or
compared to the
gas.
CVT. Or worse.
I mean, yeah.
It's not any better or worse.
But it doesn't get the it doesn't get the Frontiers engine, right? The Pathfinder.
No, it's still the old 3.5 V6.
VQ35.
The VQ35. So no engine upgrades. But if we know about Nissan, like a lot of their cars, they tend to like either introduce the engine a year after or a year before.
Right. They always miss the mark.
Because the Rogue gets that VC 1.5
next year.
Not for the introduction year. So I'm thinking the Pathfinder will probably have something cool.
So I see this Pathfinder is rated at 21 miles per gallon city, which is, I think, really solid for a 3-row SUV. 11.2 liters per 100K. What were you seeing?
I think I was averaging like 15 liters per 100 kilometers.
Still okay for a 3-row SUV.
For a 3-row gasoline SUV, yeah.
Without trying, right? Like, I mean,
no, I mean, but on the Pilot, I got the same.
Oh, I'm surprised Pilot managed that because every Odyssey that comes in is at like 18.
No, the Odyssey was more for some reason. The Odyssey was always more. Pilot, I remember I got the same. MDX, I got the same. Except MDX, you had to use premium. I think.
Yeah. So it's pretty reasonable on gas. Like, you know what I didn't realize, Jimmy, is that we made the 03 RAV4 that we bought is costing me a fortune in gas. Like, I don't know. You know what that gets? 15. It's half the size.
Stop driving it. Stop driving it. Drive your own hybrid.
I was driving a hybrid today. I'm like, this uses half the gas. You know what? I've been driving a Supra lately, and because we finally put winter tires on it, it's a lot better. And the Supra gets 11. So the RAV4 has 1/3 of the power.
I think we need to try out some gasoline myths, like fuel extension.
And that car looks very efficient. the RAV4 that we bought. I'm like regretting this decision.
I remember when we're looking at it, it was pretty good on gas. It was supposed to be pretty good on gas.
I think it was rated about the same as this Pathfinder, around 11 or 12.
Oh.
Yeah, which is like okay. I'm like, if I could get 11, I would be okay with this. But it's getting like 15. The tires don't help.
No, definitely not.
The light bar doesn't help.
The
lift doesn't help.
The light bar is nothing.
I think the light bar is something because you hear it. Like, you hear just.
I would think that the light bar is not too much, considering it's right in front of the grill. That's flat
and that
anyways.
car has no aerodynamics.
Yeah,
like you look underneath.
It's got to be the wheels, tires, and the lift. Yeah. It's just pump up the tires to like 45.
I think I'm already running high, or maybe not 45, but because they're passenger tire, not light trucks.
It's fine. Just do 45 anyways.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, this thing. Am I seeing right? I think I messaged you a few.
Yeah,
I'm
you.
like, I messaged you. I'm like, oh, I'm filling up again. I'm filling up again. And I'm like, I'm trying to like make excuses for it. I'm trying to be like, well, if you do the math with the tires, but it's really getting like when it says 290K a tank, it's actually like 315. But I do the math and I'm like, we're still over 14 liters. And I'm like, I'm better off driving my Supra. So that's what I'm doing now. Is I'm driving the Supra.
Actually, this in the spring we need to have a Supra face-off.
Ooh, are you getting a Supra lined up?
I'm gonna see if I can get a Supra
The
2 liter.
4-cylinder?
Yeah.
I've never seen one on the road.
Well, it doesn't make sense to buy one. It's $8 grand
know what?
difference.
Well, you know what also doesn't make sense is the price of 2020 Supras. Is I think the cheapest one I've seen is probably like 67, whereas my
Well,
2021 with the better engine and everything was 65 brand new.
yeah, well, that's just because of used car prices.
Yeah, used car prices don't make sense, but we'll talk about it more next week.
We'll
Kicking
definitely talk.
tires.
We'll definitely talk about it more next week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next week with more automotive news and a little Dustin rant.